an organisation in this country that is really making a difference at the moment. And we, as a church, have the opportunity to partner with them to make a difference in Rochford and Hockley and Hawkwell and Ashington in this area. Okay? There's an organisation called Christians Against Poverty, and or CAP for short. And it's an award-winning organisation which aims to see people released from the burden of debt. And they work in partnership with local churches. Last year, they brought hope to over 21,500 families in the UK. So CAP works by partnering with local churches. They have a central office in Bradford, about 300 people working in that office working to see people released from debt. And that's where all the debt relief happens, and it's regulated by the financial services. So what happens is this. Do you know what debt is? Do you know what debt is when someone's in debt? Yeah? It's when you imagine you haven't got money, so you borrow money. And, you know, a lot of us maybe have a mortgage and we borrow money and we repay the mortgage. That's not the kind of debt we're talking about. The kind of debt we're talking about is when you borrow money and then something happens maybe in your life, and then you cannot afford to repay the money. You can't afford to repay the debt. And what then happens is gradually you owe more and more money. And it's a really tragic thing. It's an epidemic in our society, in our country. The spiral of debt, where you can't climb out of it because the money you've got coming in compared to the money that's going out, it doesn't add up. And there's more money going out than coming in. And so what this organisation does, this organisation CAP, is they partner with local churches to say, let's be a part of the answer. And so if someone were to make a phone call to CAP today, one of the first questions CAP would ask is, where do you live? What's your postcode? And if you were to say your postcode is SS4 or SS5, which is this area around here, they would say, I'm sorry, we can't help you because we only work with churches in a local area and partner with them. And I think that's really sad. That there's such an amazing organisation. I'm going to show a video in a second of what they do. And in this video, we first of all see a man called Martin Lewis, who's the money-saving expert. You might have heard of him, some of you, talking about what he would recommend people to do if they find themselves in really bad debt. And then after that, we hear a phone conversation, someone from CAP phoning up someone to tell them that their debt relief order has come through and they're no longer in debt. Okay? And we'll hear that. And then we hear the sound of harmonicas. Okay? Now I've got a harmonica here. Who would like to play the harmonica? You don't have to stand at the front or anything. Who wants it? Okay, you have to give it back to me afterwards. Okay? So when you hear the sound of harmonicas playing, when you hear the sound, you're going to blow it as well. Because what they do at CAP is every time someone gets released from debt, they blow harmonicas in their office. And you hear the sound disturbing all the other phone calls. Okay? And at the end of this video, you'll hear the sound of harmonicas. Okay? Here we go.
Let's finally help Eleanor here. I'm in thousands of pounds worth of debt. Anxiety attacks regarding my debts. Feel like I'm sinking deeper and deeper. I have card debts of over £8,000. I've got to pay £21,000 back in loans. I've got £5,500 saved into a Help to Buy ISA in the hope that someday I'll be able to purchase my first house. I'm now considering transferring it to clear some of my debt. I don't want to declare myself bankrupt. I'm very much struggling to make ends meet. Not sure how the best way to split the savings between my debts.
I think the honest answer I would give you at this point is you need to go and see one of the non-profit debt counselling agencies. Citizens Advice Bureau, Step Change, National Debt Line, all very good. If you're really struggling emotionally, which it sounds like you are, so they're good if you just want a service. But if you actually want someone who's going to hold your hand at the same time, and that's often needed and very valuable because debt and mental health go together so much, then there's an organisation called Christians Against Poverty. You don't have to be a Christian to go to them. They do it because they're Christians rather than the other way around, although that is the organisation that does it, that does debt and emotional counselling together. And if you can't even cope with thinking about your debts, as opposed to need someone to help you to do what to deal with them, I'd go to Christians Against Poverty. But go and seek that help. Your anxiety will go away once you start to deal with this, I hope. You might also need to see somebody about the anxiety too. But the biggest message I get when people go, the biggest looking at you, trying to get you at home and say it to you, is I finally slept last night, things are starting to get better. If you don't deal with it, it won't get better.
Yeah.
So bite the bullet and go for it.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, who's calling?
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm calling from Christians Against Poverty. Just to congratulate you on your debt relief order.
Has it come through?
It has gone through.
Oh, don't let me cry. Does that mean I don't do anything else now? I just pay my bills as normal and get on with my life?
It is, yeah. So, believe it or not, that is everything. You've actually got £13 and 2 pence in your CAP plan, which I'll send you back.
Do you know, my gut feeling is put it towards your charity because you saved my life, basically, at the beginning of this year. Sorry.
I'm glad that we've been able to help.
So just keep it. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry I'm emotional. But
it's no problem. Okay.
Okay, that's lovely. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much for everything.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Centre in Southend have said they want to extend their services into SS4 and SS5. Now, that is an awesome opportunity because rather than us having to set everything up from scratch, they are saying we can include you in what we're doing if there's support from the local churches. And so us as a church, we're saying, yeah, we really want to support and help that happen. Last year in Southend, 24 people went debt-free through CAP. And the way it works locally is when you call up CAP, they will then link you in with the local centre and they will book in an appointment for you to see a debt counsellor. And the debt counsellor is there to hold the person's hand through all the detail, the filling out forms, the gathering bills and all that kind of stuff. And also a befriender. Someone from a local church will go with the debt counsellor to sit with a person in their home and help them kind of just emotionally and befriend them and invite them to community events and church things that are going on to link them in with other people. Because so often debt can be linked to kind of isolation and a feeling of desperation. And to link people in with a loving community is a big part of this. And when the debt counsellor and the befriender meet with the person, they always offer prayer. They always say, can we pray for you? Because we're Christians and we believe in a God who can help this situation. And the guy who heads up the Southend CAP Centre, he says, we've now seen 200 people over the last 4 years, and they're growing. And he said, in all of that time, we've only ever had 2 people refuse prayer. And people want help, and they're opening their home to say, please, can you help me? And God says that we are to be salt and light. We are to be the answer, or part of the answer in this world. Okay? So there's an opportunity for us and other churches in this area to partner with CAP. So at the end of this morning, there'll be this form. I'll put it probably at the back of one of the tables. And you can just put your name in one of the boxes to say, I'm interested in being a CAP befriender. I'm going to put my name in there. Being a CAP befriender doesn't necessarily mean huge amounts of work. On average, a befriender would see about one person a year, and it would mean meeting with them 3 times with the debt counsellor, and maybe some other times for coffee and trying to link them into a wider community as well. So if you're interested in being a befriender, you put your name on the left there. And then it also says, I'm interested in supporting CAP coming to the Rochford area through prayer. Okay, that's a good starting point, isn't it? And so if you would like to pop your name in there, you can do that. I will put that at the back. But I just want to read out one scripture, and then we're going to do communion together just to finish, okay? And then we'll do one worship song as well. Jesus said this, "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was ill, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will say, "Lord, when did we do this? When were you hungry and we fed you? When did we find you thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in? Or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you ill or in prison and go to visit you?" And the king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me."